After a very long battle that they're definitely not done with, but they are halfway through, the contestants can pat themselves on the back because out of 18 contestants, we are down to the final 9. It is 10 a.m. I have all the teams line up. They looking at Chris, ready to get this day started, wanting to know what the news is. And the news he presents them is congratulations, everyone. Drop your buffs. You have made it to the merge. And instantly so many of them are hyped. Draco is so glad that he's not forced to just be stuck around pay on his tribe. He now has open freedom. Kata and Clav are celebrating so hard right now. This is all they wanted. Their goal in this game was to make merge. And now that they're here, they're kind of realizing like, oh my god, I could win this. This could be it. This could be the chance for me to change my life with millions. Recon, Honey, they're not really like minds blown or anything. They are very happy and grateful to make merge. Jenny is ecstatic. Same thing with Casey because she had to do a bit to get here. Seattle, he's proud of himself he made merge, but it's not like he's gonna hype himself up or anything because he didn't expect to get this far. But since he's already here, he might as well try. And then Pay in her mind is like, meh, I knew that I would get this far. I knew this would happen. And then I announced to them with merge comes the freedom of semi-modern luxury. Instead of living in shacks and caves and dilapidated survivor areas, they now get the true total drama treatment. With that being said, you guys have everything you need in the chow hall. Have a good time, have a good merge feast, and there's beer pong in there. Everyone here is above 21. Hey, I feel like she goes to Draco and she just like surprise kisses him on the cheek. She's like, I'm gonna go lay down, y'all have fun. And she just immediately wanted to sleep on a real bed. Oh my god, she wanted to do that. Same thing with Jenny. She was like, oh my god, these are actually really nice beds. I was expecting them to be very shitty beds, but instead they're you like instantly falls asleep. Seattle, Draco, Honey, and Casey do decide to partake in the beer pong. Clav, Kata, Recon, they all get a little bit of food, but they want to head to the beach. They want to chill, relax. They're on their Danganronpa vibes. Number 2, Pay before fully falling asleep. You know, she pickpockets and checks Jenny, make sure she doesn't have any idols. She don't, so she's good. She then falls asleep. Draco, he can almost sense that Pay's asleep because he has like a blanket of safety and like he's calm. He can tell when he's not in danger. That's so sad, honestly. And I doubt most of y'all have even played beer pong, let alone like double beer pong, but me and my friend Tyler, bro, we are gods at beer pong. And right now, I definitely feel like that's Draco and Seattle. Honey caring a little bit for her team, but Draco just swishing. Seattle, he doing the Jordan on that bed. I'm talking LeBron, like he doing everything he got. Like Casey and Honey right now, with how many times Seattle and Draco has got in, like they drunk, they slipped. Honey can't handle the alcohol. She's like, hey, I'll see y'all later. I'm seeing triple. She go to sleep. Seattle decides to go into the kitchen to help like maybe earn him a couple points because he does know he need to make some friends, especially in merge. And he actually likes Draco and Casey a lot, so he gonna make them a few like hamburger grilled cheese with the garlic dipping sauce. Draco and Casey playing beer pong. Casey, when it's solo, she's actually doing great. She's beating Draco. Clav, Kata, Recon, they're all kind of sitting there enjoying like chips and maybe like a ham sandwich, and they're just looking at the dock of shame and they're like, man, I never want to go down there. And Kata just pops the question. She like, have you guys like seen the show like Total Drama and stuff? And Recon, he's like, no, not really, to be honest. I mean, I've heard about it. I know what it is. I did my research before coming here. And Clav's like, I'm a huge fan and I love this show. And immediately Kata and Clav start talking about like previous contestants, like who do they like, who they think the best winner is. Clav thinks that the best winner overall is Priya, and he really likes like the new season and the new vibes and stuff, where Kata, she actually really prefers Gwen or Cameron. She loves how Cameron played in his game and tried to help people. And Recon, hearing this, he's realizing, he's like, these are two very nice strategists and they know this game. And he's like, you know, I don't know if any of them would expect it, but what if right now we become an alliance? And Clav and Kata look at each other, they're like, you know, Clav, you know, Cat is like, Clav, I actually think you're a chill person. You're one of the best people on the island. I haven't even really got a chance to talk with you that much. So I would love to actually get this final 3 right here. And Clav, he thinks about it, and out of like everyone left on the island, he definitely does not mind hanging with these 2 the longest. He's like, you know what, bet, it's official. And they're like, what should we call ourselves? And Kata has like a little bit of a goofy name, but she's like, what about Trey Winners? And Clav, he actually likes that. So from now on, he's like, all right, this is the 3 right here. This is the gang. And Clav's like, hold on, I gotta go pee. And so whenever he goes to, like on a private thing to, you know, to pee, he actually get hit with a dart and then he's dragged away. Now, as for the 3 asleep, it's a little bit funny because they actually, even though they're asleep, they shoot a dart in all 3 of them. And 2 of them are like sleeping, knocked out, but Pei wakes up. She's like, ow, what the? And she picks out the dart and flings it because it don't affect her. She's like, what's going on? And she sees mass people and she just starts throwing haymakers. I'm talking punch. She leaving teeth on the ground. She's bloodying noses, and these some like big people trying to kidnap her, Saw style. And then all of a sudden, she falls on the ground to reveal like 30 darts in her back. Seattle just got done making the grilled cheeseburgers. He puts them out. You know, he's like, hey, your food's done. I'll be right there to eat with y'all. So he goes back into the kitchen. They grab their food and they eat in the chow hall. And while they do that, he just got darted and took from the kitchen. Recon and Kata are starting to realize that's taking Clav a little while, but Recon maybe thought he had to use the bathroom a different way. So he's like, hey, just leave him alone. And so Recon's like, Kata, if we actually do make the final 3 together, who do you think would win? And Kata obviously hopes like in the back of her head that it is her, because anyone would like to be the winner and be a millionaire, multi-millionaire. But Kata's like, I don't know. It just really depends on what happens in this game and how the jury thinks. I really hope all 3 of us can make it there, because that would be fire. Between like me and you, Recon, these contestants are a little nutty. No professor. And that Recon goes, ouch, and then like falls over asleep. Kata's confused, and then she gets darted, which leaves Casey and Draco just eating their sandwich. Pei would hate this if she could see them both talking, having a meal together. And Casey is a little bit curious. She's like, you know, if you don't like Pei at all, why do you guys always hang out? And Draco's like, bro, you remember like Cody and Sierra from season 3? It's like that, but 30 times worse and on crack. She is mental. Please, next vote, just help me get her out. And Casey thinks about it. Pei hasn't ever really tried to get Casey out, and she plays her game by like pure strategical sense. She doesn't let personal relationships or emotions get in the way. She plays it like a game of chess. And getting out a piece that can't get her piece out doesn't make sense in her mind. But she does understand that, you know, Sierra was crazy, and if he's saying that Pei is Sierra, then it must be bad. All of a sudden though, after he takes like his 8th bite, almost done with his sandwich, he just falls flat with a dart stick out of his neck. She's like, what the? And all of a sudden, bam, she gets darted as well. They're the last ones dragged away. And after the joy of being emerged and having a great party and relaxing, they are found in a very scary situation. So basically they up about 50 feet, maybe about 150 feet, and they're all standing on a podium, and the podium has a thin thing like you're supposed to walk across, a thin beam that leads to the middle. And they kind of all wake up standing up, which is already disorienting. But immediately, you know, Clav's like, hey, where are we even at? Kata, her anxiety is starting to spike so extremely high. She hates heights, so does Draco. And Honey kind of notices the balance beam, and they're like, hey, if I'm supposed to walk across that shit, ain't no way. Because the balance beam is like 15 feet. You gotta do a lot. But Chris pops up like, on the radio. They can hear him, and he basically explains the last person to push their button or the button in the middle, their entire platform is gonna drop and they gonna get murked. And they can see the bottom, so there's no net, there's nothing. They're a little like scared and confused, thinking Chris has finally lost it. But Pei skips across the balance beam, pushes the button, and just like that, a door opens for another room, but she can't go in it until everyone else who was gonna be present is present. Now Draco is a little mad that Pei could do it so easily, so he's gonna take a go at it, and immediately he starts wobbling and he almost falls, and he actually does fall. But of course his wrist is grabbed because Pei caught him in time, and not only does she pull him up, but she just throws him across to the safety. She's like, you can thank me later, Draco. And after those two get across safely, everyone realizes that the starting platform, that they haven't moved from, just cracked a little, and now Ginny and Kata are both freaking out to the point that they're crying a little bit. Anxiety getting to them crazy. Casey and Recon, however, are now on the move. Honey, Clav, and Seattle are still waiting for, Chris to say, JK, y'all don't gotta, because it's clearly you're gonna fall to your death. But then Casey and Recon both make it, and it cracks and crumbles even more to the point that they're basically standing on like a sliver of the podium that was at the start. And Seattle, he has big feet to begin with, and he's like, you know what, I'm no longer chancing, and he's going really, really slow. And Honey, Clav, they're taking their chances, and Clav, he's like, yo, Kata, you gotta do this. If Chris has actually lost it, you don't want to be a statistic of his mental breakdown. Even though Seattle went first, Honey surpassed him along with Clav. Everyone is now looking at the three. Seattle jumps like 2 feet. He did not want to walk that. And it's between Ginny and Kata. Kata finally, from the peer pressure of Clav saying it, she gets up, starts walking the balance beam, but halfway she slips, bonks her head, and she fell. And now Ginny, looking at this, her eyes widen, and everyone, it kind of goes silent for a moment, and they're like, bro, Kata really just got clipped. Her life expired. What happened? Ginny, you gotta come over here. And Ginny, she's like, all right, well, I can't be the last one. That's good. So she starts walking over, but she gets like 2 steps in and immediately slips like she stepped on banana peel. And bruh, only one of y'all were supposed to go. How incompetent. They head into room 2 with, like an audio tape ready for Chris. And on the audio tape, Chris says, it's very clear there is a bomb sitting in the middle of this room. Quite a big one too, the size of a bowling ball. Basically, y'all gotta pass it to each other until it blows up. And Casey immediately with the idea like, hey, if we never pick it up, perhaps it just won't blow up. And cartoonish fashion, Chris pops in and he's like, by the way, if the bomb isn't picked up in 20 seconds, the entire room explodes. Immediately, Pei grabs it and throws it to Draco. Draco, realizing the game started, he's like, hell no. Throws it to Honey. Honey throws it to Seattle. Seattle throws it to Recon. Recon tosses it straight back to Pei, and Pei, she gets a little bit angry at this, tosses it to Recon. He tosses it to Pei, and it's literally a game of hot potato between the two of them until Pei, suddenly when it's passed to her, she holds it for a second. She just looks at Recon. She then puts the bomb in her shirt, hugs Recon, and then they both blow up. Once again, only one of you were supposed to go. Y'all gotta stop dying in pairs. This isn't how the challenge works. Now for the third challenge, they walk into the third room. They're all very freaked, but just happy they're alive right now. And they just notice like grates in the floor, and there's like 5 handcuffs kind of on a chain tied to the ground. Well, technically there's 7, but there's only 5 of them here to put it on. As instructed by Chris, they have to, they put it on. They just want out of here, even though they are kind of starting to think maybe doing nothing is going to be a good idea. But after all of them, like cuffed to the ground, the room, aka the entire thing they're attached to, slowly starts filling up with water. And Clav, he is so angry. He's like, bro, I saw the grates and I knew this was gonna happen, and I still cuffed myself. Draco kind of like feels the cuff, and he's like, wait, there's braille on this. And after feeling a little bit, Clav is like, wait, I think this is like corresponding to the alphabet. And they notice that the lock, they have to enter code to unlock the chain, and the last person, which means thank God only one is dying, to figure out the password is the one that's gonna keep on their chain, and they might get drowned. But the water's filling up fast. Like, they only got 2 out of the 5 digits they need, and it's already to their stomach. Rather quickly, however, Casey finds out the combination to her, swims out, climbs the ladder. She's out of there. But when she solves it, the water starts rising faster. It is now up to everyone's shoulder, and it definitely does not help when Honey also solves solves it, and it only takes like 20 seconds, and now the water is fully above their head. They cannot breathe. Clav in Seattle super trying to stay calm. Draco is freaking out, hyperventilating, almost underwater, trying to solve it. And even though he's the only one not staying calm, maybe that worked out for him because he used his adrenaline, solved the code, heat, breath of fresh air, and now these two are both starting to about to drown. Clav immediately, gulps his first lungful of water, solves the code, but on the way to the surface, his ass drowned. And Seattle, since he's the last one to solve the code, he also just kind of drowns down there. That's crazy. There were supposed to be 5 or 6 rooms, but now I'm afraid we might not even get to the 5th one. We're stuck at 4. And this one is simple. There is a Glock with 1 bullet in it. One big Glock with a bullet in it. And one of you has to harakiri, aka sacrifice yourself. And immediately, Casey grabs the gun, shoots Honey, and she's like, hey, we can go on to the next room now. I'm like, bro, that is not how it works. And Draco just watches Casey out of nowhere just drop dead. He is so confused how that even happened. But all of a sudden, Draco is smacked back into reality by Pei. She smacked the VR headset right off him. And she's like, hey, congratulations, you won the immunity challenge. And he is having a heart attack. He's so confused. But then he hears like Honey and Casey just straight bitching to each other because Honey's pissed that they just got shot. And a lot of the contestants are super mad at Chris for putting them through this. But he's like, hey, just be glad y'all are not actually there. It was VR, y'all got it. Calm down, stop crying about it. You only died for like half a minute. Draco, Honey, Jenny, and Kata kind of need a moment to themselves to like kind of just relax, lay down before the vote. Pei is kind of watching Recon talk to Clav as they like have a good conversation and chat it up. She's kind of squinting over there, writing in her diary like it's some magical thing. And she's not forgetting, the fact that he was targeting her. So I feel like she's gonna be like, hey, Casey, can you come to the beach real quick so me, you, and Seattle can talk? And then Pei's like, you know what, I'll be right back. And so I think she's gonna get Honey and Jenny. She tried to get Kata, but Kata is very, you see how wide her eyes are right now? Imagine that, but her pupils are like 14 times smaller. That's what she looks like. She is scared, bro. She is shook. And these 5 are at the beach, and Pei basically explains to them a little bit of something. And just like that, everyone is joining us for another campfire ceremony. Draco definitely pitched the idea to Recon and Clav. You know what? Can we please just get Pei out? And I think they are both definitely for it, especially Recon right now. And so knowing that, I think as soon as they sit down, for tribal, Chris immediately questions like, all right, Recon, how do you feel that Pei killed both herself and you just to eliminate you out of spite? Immediately he's like, well, I don't understand why she did that. And immediately she cuts him off. She's like, well, I don't understand why he kept tossing it back to me. It's supposed to be a one-on-one thing, and I only tossed it back to him because he tossed it to me, but then he kept choosing me instead of solidifying a different choice, which is kind of weird. And Draco's like, well, if I would have got the bomb, I would have kept handing it to you every time would you gave it to me. And she's like, well, of course not. And Clav, seeing this and hearing her, he's like, bruh, did y'all just hear this? And Jenny is like, it's okay to not have double standards, but it is okay to have double standards. It's a little bit of a different contraspect since we're in a game like this. It is a game of betrayal and everything, so we might have to play the games of a social contract a little bit differently than the Commonwealth. And Honey's like, bro, what the hell did you even just say? Calm down, bro. And I feel like Seattle, he's gonna pipe up a little bit. He's like, hey, I just want to make it clear in this game that I appreciate making it this far, and I'm glad you guys have chose to not vote me out. But when I play this game, not only am I playing with the perspective I'm gonna get out at any moment, and I just kind of I have to be at peace with that, but I'm also playing this game because I'm hopefully looking for a better life. This could be a chance. And I'm playing with a whole bunch of players who is also playing this game for hopefully a better chance in life, because money is definitely an issue. And I think it's good to keep in mind, like who needs this money more than others kind of thing. And Pei's like, yeah, I got so much college debt to pay off, it's crazy. And Draco just kind of scoffs. He's like, I wish my financial situation could even think of going to college. Are we not gonna mention the fact that I got shot? And Casey's like, bro, drop it already. I didn't know it was VR. And Honey's like, that makes it even worse. And Jenny, she's like, what even happened? What are you guys talking about? Did someone shoot someone? Was that a game? What happened? And Honey's like, it was a game to shoot yourself, but she picked up the gun, shot me, which broke the rules, and her herself got blasted. And Casey's like, it was the final 3. I thought we were all dying one by one, and there was only gonna be like one person left alive. And Seattle's like, I would have done that. I would have shot if it was the final 5. And Jenny, hearing Seattle, she's like, that's crazy. The fact to even say that every human life is valuable and sacred for the most part, unless you did something really bad. Like, if you did something bad enough where on your grave there has to be an asterisk next to it, then maybe you're too bad. But you shouldn't be able to shoot someone just in the face because it's the final 3. Like, all 3 of them could have lived, and they didn't know that. Said you had to kill yourself, but she killed someone else. That's not even fair. That's murder. And Seattle's like, bro, I'm not even fucking dealing with that. I shoot people for free. And Jenny, hearing this, she's like, oh, okay. With that confessional that I hope is definitely fictional, I hope, each one of them are now gonna have to write a name of someone they want eliminated from the game. This is the first merge vote, and we will see who got eliminated. All of the votes have been casted. If anyone has an idol and would like to play this is definitely the time to do it. And besides Pei, no one knows who else has an idol, so they're all kind of looking at each other, hoping like this plan isn't gonna go rebunk. Alright, after no takers, we are going to reveal the votes. The first vote goes to Recon. The second vote goes to Pei. Immediately Draco's like, yes, today's the day. The third vote goes to Recon. The fourth vote goes to Pei. And now Recon is wondering like, hey, why do I have 2 votes against me? That's kind of whack. And he's gonna be real shocked to find out the 5th vote is also for Recon. That is 3-2. Everyone else is in the clear so far. The 6th vote, should I say, is Recon, which is his 4th vote. The 7th vote goes to Pei. The 8th vote goes to Pei. It is now a tie, 4-4 with 1 vote left. And now Pei, she's not showing it, but for the first time, she's like putting all of her fingertips together, you know, evil style, Dr. Evil, and she's like, oh, are these peasants actually going to take me down? And Recon is bug-eyed, nervous, sweating. The last vote, and the 10th person voted out of this game. I'm so sorry, Recon. You are walking the dock of shame. And immediately him, Kata, Clav, they're all like, huh? Honey's like, what happened? And Pei's like, oh, I might have told every single person here that Recon was a multi-millionaire with his own restaurant franchise across the nation. And Seattle's like, yeah, sorry, dude. There's people here who are sleeping on air mattresses. I don't see any reason why you should get any of a higher chance to win this million. And Casey's like, yeah, you hid that entire fact from us. And Pei's like, sorry, Recon, shao. And he is so angry. He dabs up Clav. He dabs up Kata. And he's like, all right, bro, y'all did your thing. You know, I'm not gonna cry about it, because you know where I'm gonna go? I'm gonna go eat lobster bisque. And he's also dining on some filet mignon, peppercorn with blue cheese crumble, Mr. Goodman style. Recon, I won't even lie, in the rough drafts, you got super far in the game, but canonly and factually, you're the 9th person, 9th place, which leaves us with the top 8. All of them have worked very hard to get here. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. After a long, stressful, rough day, they're finally gonna be able to sleep, relax. Let me know in the comments who you are rooting for, and I dare every single one of you to have a good